So in this lesson, we are going to see how we can use complete the square method to find the vertex. And before we start to introduce completing the square method, we are going to see how we can determine the symmetric points on the problem to find the vertex. So determine the vertex for y equals 2x squared minus 4x minus 5 by factoring or partial factoring. So for this one, it's complex trinomial. If we want to factor it, we need to find the two numbers times together equals AC is negative 10. So we could use a x game. So we just divided the space into 4 parts, and we put I times together equals AC here is negative 10. I together is the number at front of x is negative 4. So, and the two numbers we found, we are going to put at these two areas. So for the 10, we could find the factors of 10 by 10 divided by 1, 10 divided by 2, 10 divided by 3, 4 doesn't work, and 10 divided by 5 will repeat. So we only have 10 divided by 1 is 10, 10 divided by 2 is 5. We only have two pairs of factors for 10. Then the larger number is need to be same as the sum. Then add together you can get negative. So the larger number sign need to be negative, and the time together negative, so one negative, another one need to be positive. Each pair times together equals negative 10. Then we check any of them, the sum equals negative 4, sum equals negative 9, and this sum equals negative 3. So none of them equals negative 4. So A is not factorable. And like I said, we could use a symmetric points. So on the U shape, okay. So we are going to see what's the symmetric points on this U shape. The problem x, y, and from the standard form, the easier one, the easier point to find is a y-intercept. The c value is your y-intercept is 0, negative 5. 0, negative 5. And if we could find the symmetric point for this 0, negative 5, so symmetric point, the y value will be same. We need to find the x value. Once we are able to find the x value for this symmetric point, we are able to find the axis of symmetry, the line that divided the U shape into half. And the reason why we want to find the axis of symmetry, because the equation of the axis symmetry, the P value is your vertex P value. So it's P, then vertex is Q. Then we have the P, we sub in, we are able to find the y value. Whenever you want to find the y coordinate, we do the substitution. So this is our ideas. So first thing, we find the symmetric point of the y-intercept. Then second thing, we have this is your p value. Once we have the p value, we do the second one. We sub in the p value to find the q value. So we are going to see how we are able to find the symmetric point of the y-intercept. In this equation, we have x and y. We have both x, y in one equation, two variables in one equation. We are not able to solve for x and y. So we are going to need one variable given. So let y equals negative 5. We want to find the x value. Then we sub in this negative 5 to the equation. We are going to have 2x squared minus 4x minus 5. And when we are solving quadratic equation, we have xx two terms. Then we want to make sure one side equals 0. So we are going to move all the numbers and variables to one side and make sure other side is 0. So -5 move to other side, do the opposite operation, it will be plus. So it will be +5. Then we collect the like terms, that is a -5, +5. So I together is 0. Then we are going to have 2x squared minus 4x. Then you will see we have only two terms and no constant term. And these two terms both have variable x, so we have common factor of variable. For common factor for variable x, the common factor will be the lowest degree from each term. So we have two terms, this is degree 2, this is degree 1, the lowest term is 1. So we are going to equal 0, then factor the x. For the number at front, if it's hard for you to find the common factors, you could use a fraction button on your calculator, type in 2/4. If it doesn't change, stay same, it means they don't have common factor. If it give you another form, it means you have common factors from these two, they cancelled out, then you have the lowest form. So you will see you have 2 to form both 2 and 4. So we take the number 2 out, and the variable lowest degree is x. Then each term divided by 2x. 2x squared divided by 2x, 2 divided by 2 is 1, x squared divided by x, 1. The degree subtract, the integer subtraction for the same variable division, the power division. So it's 1. Minus 4 divided by 2 is minus 2. X divided by x, degree 1 minus 1 is 0, is gone. So x minus 2 only. And you don't have to write the degree 1 there. By default, it is 1. Then each factor, you could imagine that 2x is in bracket, or you could divide it 2 to both sides. So each factor equals 0, so 2x equals 0, or x minus 2 equals 0. So divided by 2 is a multiplication, opposite operation is division. For linear, we isolate x by move the 2 to other side. Do the opposite operation is division, then you have 1x. 0 divided by 2 is 0. We isolate x by moving minus 2 to other side. Opposite operation is plus 2. Move something to other side, do the opposite operation. So we have 0 and 2. It means the symmetric point of this y-intercept is 2, -5. Then the middle of these two will be the average of that two numbers. So average of that two is midpoint, that is the p-value, the x-coordinate of the vertex. So p-value equals the two numbers I together divided by 2, the midpoint. It equals 1. So we know that is a 1 comma. Whenever you have the x value, you want to find the y value, is substitution. Sub p equals x equals 1 into the original equation, then you are able to find the vertex. So y equals, you could sub into the, you must make sure sub into the original equation. So 2 times 1 squared minus 4 times 1 minus 5. So replace all the x with 1, then do the calculation. Exponent first, 1 squared is 1. So 2 times 1 minus 4 times 1 is 4, then minus 5. Then you have -7. So the vertex is 1, -7. X first, y second. Then that is done. So that is how You find the vertex by factoring a factorable or partial factoring. For partial factoring, we are let the y equals a c value. Then you will have only the ax squared plus bx left. So ax squared plus bx plus c. Let y equals the c value, then c is gone. You will have two terms with x variable from both. So always you are able to factor the x out. So you will have x equals 0 for sure. Another one is solid. So this is one method to solve for the determine the vertex from standard form. And today we are going to show you another method that is without factoring, we find the vertex right away. That is we call completing the square. So that is today's task. So factoring is not always the most efficient. So another way is called completing the square. So in order to complete the square, then we know that we want to write it as in this vertex form. So this is vertex form, and we want to write it in this form. The reason why this is a vertex form because at this from this equation, if a greater than 0, then the first term is always greater than or equal to 0. So this is open up. And from x minus p, if x equals p, then you will find out this term equals 0, so it will be this lowest point. All the other point you add 9 zeros, it will be above it. So that's the reason this we call vertex form, because p comma q is a turning point. If a greater than 0, then all the other point is add a non-zero number is greater than 8. If a less than 0, then this term will be always less than or equal to 0. So it is at vertex you have 0, so you have q, and all the others is minus 8. It will be below it. So this we call vertex form. And completing the square, we want to convert this standard form to this vertex form. So we are going to see y equals, we have the a value outside of the bracket, so we want to take the 2 out. Then bracket. So the first two terms we divide by 2. So x squared minus 2x. And for the constant, we have constant outside, so we put a 5, minus 5 there. Then we are going to see how we are able to convert this one to the perfect squared. So this one, continue. We want to see how we can write it as a x minus this number. We need to add together equals -2 and times together equals a perfect square. So the two numbers need to be same. So it means we are looking for I together equals -2. And in order to have perfect squared, these two numbers must be same, is your minus p. So from this one, two numbers add together equals this, and equals means each of them should be this divided by 2. So it's -1, -1. Then we have the same thing. It will add together give you -2, and times together will be 1. So it means we need to have x squared minus 2x is add together and plus 1. So if we have add together equals -2 times together 1, you are going to have a perfect square, x minus 1 bracket squared. But in the bracket, we have no constant here, so we need to subtract 1 to make it equal 0. Then inside the bracket is same as before, so it's equal to 0. So make sure you add something, you need to minus something. Then we copy this -5, the constant outside down. Then double check your expression is equal to the original expression. Okay, so x squared minus 2x in the bracket, 2 times -5. Then we use the first 3 terms to get a perfect square. We didn't use the last term. We are going to take that one out. So plus 2 times this -1, then -5. We collect the like terms, so 2 bracket x minus 1 bracket squared -7. Then compared to the vertex form, we have a bracket x minus p bracket squared plus q. Then you are going to have the pq value is, this is your vertex. So p is opposite with number in the bracket, so -1, the p is +1. And the q is just a constant outside of this perfect squared. It's -7. Then compared to our factor method, yes, the vertex is 1, -7. So we could graph it, find the vertex 1, -7. Then the quadratic, we have a very important property that we have learned before is step pattern. So the step pattern is, the second difference is same. So the step pattern is A times 1, 3, 5. 7, 9 continually. So here A is 2, so we have 2 times 1, 3, 5. Then give you 2, 6, 10, and continue. The step pattern means the slope from the vertex to the next point, the next point to the next point. So from this one is right one up to the first slope next to the vertex, and next slope is right 2 up 6. And do the same thing, left one up 2, left one up 6. So if we label the coordinate is 1, -7, the second point is 2, up 2 is -5, and right one is 3, up 6 is +1. And same thing to the left, 0, -5, then left one is -1, then up 6 is 1. So you have the 5 points, you can connect them. So this is a method that for completing the square. So this one is called the traditional method, and I could show you the box method. Okay, so the box method is connected to the factoring, the method we used before. So the box method is, we start from, so this is box method, and you pick the method which one you like. So the box method, first step, same. Take the 2 out, the a value out. Each term divided by a value, the first 2 terms with x, then copy the c here. And for the box, we are going to draw a box. Equals 2, then bracket. We draw a box. inside the bracket, then minus 5. In the box, the first term go in first. The second term, we are going to split it into half because we want after factoring they are same. So we are going to divide it by 2. You have negative 1x, negative 1x. Then we are going to do the factoring of the first row. It will give you common factor x. Then we do 3 divisions. So 3 divisions. X squared is area, x is one side. In order to find other side, we use area, x squared divided by one side x, give you x. And after that, we do another division. Area is negative x for this box, one side is x, do the division to find other side. Negative x divided by x, give you negative 1. And the third division. This is area, negative x, then this is x, negative x divided by x give you negative 1. So you will see always we want these two boxes same, then you could have negative 1 there. They are going to be same. You will have x minus 1 squared. Now, we don't have a number here. We need a number to make this area works. So negative 1 times negative 1 give you positive 1. And in the bracket, we don't have constant term, so we need to minus 1. Then add together, it will go back x squared minus 2x plus 0. So it works. Then we could write it 2 bracket. This one is 1 bracket. This is another bracket. They are same, so x minus 1 bracket squared. Then the 2, don't forget, you need to times it with this number outside of the box. So plus 2 times negative 1. Then copy the constant down is negative 5. Then you collect the like terms, you will have 2 times x minus 1 bracket squared minus 7. So that is, we call it box method. So what we have done is, step 1, we take the a out. Step 1, factor a out. It doesn't matter a is a common factor or not. Even if you have a fraction from the second term, you are going to factor a out because we want a outside of the squared. Then step 2, factor a out from only the first 2 terms. We don't consider the constant from ax squared plus bx only. The c is outside of the box or the bracket. Step 2, we are going to split the whatever inside the bracket, the new b value by half. Split b over a into half. So that is your new b value. Split it into half. Then step 3, we add this. So the b over a squared. Then remember you need to minus that. Add it and also minus it. Then step 4, we just write the final answers out. So a times x plus b over a bracket squared, then minus plus a times negative b over a bracket squared, then plus c. So in this question is just we factor 2 out, then split the number -2 into half. We add -2 squared, -1 squared, then minus -1 squared. So the final answer is 2 bracket x minus 1 bracket squared plus 2 times -1, then c is -5. So that is a c value, a value, then the b over a get into half, so it's 2a over b. Okay. So that is the steps. So split whatever in the bracket, the b, new b value in bracket, new b value, divided by 2. Okay, so this is a completing the square. So practice, and there are 2 methods, you can pick one, which one you like. So this one, x squared minus 2x plus 1 minus 1 is same as a box. It's just write it in 2 rows. Okay, so for the traditional method, it's plus 1 minus 1, and for the box method, it's just x squared minus x separated, then plus 1 minus 1. Then the box is x minus 1 squared, 2 minus 1 is outside, and minus 5. So split whatever the new b value. So not 4. Before is 4, now it's split this 2, -2 by into half. Okay. So that is for completing the square. Then we are going to fill in a chart, do a review of the vertex form. So from this one, if the highest degree for the variable is square is 2, it is a problem, and the vertex is p and q. The axis of symmetry is x equals p. The stretch factor is a numerical value of a, means always positive. So always positive number. If it's negative, we ignore the negative sign. If a positive, then the problem opens up, and at the vertex is the lowest point of the point. If a positive open up, then at the vertex you have a lowest point. So you have lowest point at here. So this is a minimum. And if a less than 0, then the graph is open down. Then at the vertex, you have highest point, you have a maximum y value. So minimum y value or a minimum maximum y value is corresponding to the y value. It's always equals the y coordinate of the vertex. The step pattern is from the vertex, write 1 up 1a, write 1 up 3a is a slope. It's changing, okay? If slope same, it will be a straight line. So for the problem, the slope is changing, but the second difference is you will see is 2 times a, 2 times a, so they are constant. It is a quadratic function. So this is a summary of the vertex form. Then we are going to practice on from vertex form to find the vertex and the axis of symmetry and the sketch, domain and range. So x squared minus 1. This one, comparing to this, we could change this one to p and q or h and k, it doesn't matter. So the p value, there's nothing inside the bracket. You could imagine you have one bracket, x, no adding subtracting number means -0, then -1. Then you will see a is 1, p is 0, q is -1. So 0, comma, -1. Then the axis of symmetry is x equals the p-value is x coordinate is x equals 0. The stretch factor related to that one is a equals 1, so no stretch. No stretch means the shape of the problem is exactly same as a parent function y equals x squared. This we call the simplest function in quadratic family is a parent function or base function y equals x squared. Direction of opening, we check the a value. A equals 1 is greater than 0, we know it's open up. So at the vertex is a turning point, all the other at a non-zero is above the vertex, so it's open up. We sketch it, we are going to use a step pattern, so 0, -1. This is your vertex. Then step pattern is right one, up one, so right one, up one. Then right one, up 3. So you right one, up 1, you have 1, 0. Right one, up 3, you have 2, 3. And do the same thing, left one, up 1, left one, up 3. Then you connect it, you have the graph. So from this one, left one is 0, left one is -1, -1 up 1 is 1, 0. Then left one give you -2, up 3 give you 3. So these are the 5 points you are going to use to graph this quadratic function. The range, the x domain I didn't put here because there's no restrictions for x. Minimum for x is -infinity, maximum of x is positive infinity, is always all real numbers. But for the range, it's different for each question maybe. So from here, the lowest point minimum for y is -1. And keeps going up is positive infinity. So it's including -1, we use a squared bracket. So we use squared bracket to positive infinity. Infinity, we are never ever going to reach it, so we don't include that point. It's just regular bracket. Or you could use a set notation is y belongs all real numbers such that -1 less than or equal to y. You don't have to write infinity, but if you like, you could write less than infinity there. So always remember it's minimum, then the y value, then maximum. Minimum less than y less than maximum. The equal sign, it's if you have a solid dot, you put equal sign there. Otherwise, you don't put equal sign there. Okay. And describe the transformation. It's from the vertex. The p value is left right, q value is up down. So this one is no left right. So p is left right, comparing to the parent function. So just see from 0, 0, the vertex mode, left, right, up, down. Q is up, down. So this is, and A is a vertical stretch. Vertical stretch. And if A less than 0, it will be the reflect. So this one A is 1, so no vertical stretch, no reflect. P is 0, so no left right, just the whole graph of the parent function down 1 unit. That is we are going to see the next one. So this one, no Q value, it means adding, subtracting 0. So if adding, subtracting the number not there means adding, subtracting 0. If multiplying the number not there means positive 1 or negative 1. So this is negative 1 x minus 4 bracket squared plus 0. Compare it with APQ. So P is 4 opposite, Q is 0. The reason why is you can think is P is positive 4. You can think you are solving for x minus 4. You move the minus 4 to other side, it is opposite, positive 4. So that's reason P value is opposite. Then the axis of symmetry is just x equals the x coordinate of the vertex. Stretch A equals negative 1. There's no stretch, but it will be reflect in the x-axis. And the direction of opening, because A is less than 0, so from the vertex it will be minus number to get other points, so it will be below that vertex. It's open down. Then when we do the graph, we find the vertex at 4, 0. So this is 4, 0. Then the step pattern will be A times 1, 2, 3. So it will be negative 1, down 1. Right 1 is 5, down 1 is 0 to negative 1. Then the next point, right 1 is 6, from 4, 5, 6, go the right 1, then down 3 will be minus 4. Then this point, left 1, down 1, it will be left 1 from 4 left is 3, down 1 is negative 1. And from 3, left 1 will be 2. And down 3 will be negative 4. So will be here. You have the 5 points, and we could connect them, and you are able to graph it. So sketch it, 5 points. Then for the range, at the vertex it is a highest point, you have a maximum. So it will be from negative infinity is a minimum for your graph y value, and to the highest point is 4. So range is weighted y value. So minimum to maximum. And the set notation you could write is y belongs all real numbers, because a solid line on the number lines, they are real numbers. And minimum is negative infinity, maximum is highest point is 4. So this is set notation. And for the transformation, P is left right, P is 4, so it's right forward. It's based on the parent function y equals x squared. Right 4, no left right, no up down, because Q is 0. So it's just from 0, 0 point, the vertex right 4, and it's open down, so reflect in the x-axis. If A value is not 1, then you are going to write vertical stretch by a factor of a numerical A value. So when we are describing the transformations, we want to use measurable numbers, so they will be positive number. We use a word to describe is up, down, left, right, reflect. So the last one is APQ given. Okay, just remember P is always opposite APQ. Then the vertex is PQ. Copy it. -2, 5, -2. Axis of symmetry is just x equals a P value, and the stretch will be vertical stretch by vertical stretch or compress. Stretch by one or two. Some textbook they use compressed by 2. Some textbook write vertical stretch compressed by 2, so it's confusing. So I will just use stretch by 1 or 2, the A value. If A less than 1, and you know it is compressed. So A is positive, so it will be open up, and we sketch it will be -5, -2, so -5, -2, then it will be right 1 down half, then right 1 down 3 or 2. So we'll just sketch it, and I will give you the points. Okay, so from -5, -2, right one, this one add 1 will be -4, and the step pattern is 1, 3, 5 times. It give you 0.5. So it will be, sorry, I didn't graph it correctly, need to be open up. So it's right 1 up. So this one plus 1 or 2 give you -1.5. So -1.5. And another one, right 1 up, give you, right 1 is -3, up 1.5, give you 0. Okay, so it's right 1 up half, then right 1 up -3 there. Then do the same thing, left 1, left 2, left 1, 1.5. So it's this one. So the point is, right side is this, and the left side from -5 go left 1 is -6 plus 0.5 is -1.5, and from here left 1 again is -7 plus 1.5 is 0. So these are the 5 points on this graph. And from here, because open up, we have a minimum, so we put the minimum here is -2. Then all the way go to maximum is positive infinity. So the description will be, the P is left, right, so left 5. If negative, left. If positive, right. Left 5 unit, and the Q value is negative, is down 2 units, and is 1 over 2, it will be stretched. Vertical stretched. By 1 or 2. So that is from a vertex form what you can get from this vertex form. Vertex, axis of symmetry, the stretch factor, and open up or down. You can sketch it by using step pattern. Step pattern is A value times 135. That is a slope from vertex to next point, and from next point to next point. So, and it's symmetric, so do the same thing. Is left one up, how many? Then P is left right, Q is up down, the vertical stretch is A value. If A less than 0 is reflect. Okay, so these are the from vertex form how you can find all these informations, and you will see completing the square to get vertex form is very important. So now we are going to do some word problems. So from this word problem, the path of a bullet is given. H is height in meters and T is time in seconds after the bullet was fired. So it asks you find the minimum height. If you have the keyword maximum, minimum, then highest, lowest, you know that you are looking for vertex. So for each quadratic question, you need to always ask yourself. So if this is negative, you may have a graph open down. So you have the 3 key points: vertex, y-intercept, the point of intersection with y-axis, and you may have x-intercept. So these 3 different type of points are the point you are looking for. So for each question, you need to ask yourself, which point am I looking for? So for this one, you have keyword maximum, minimum, then it's vertex. So if we are looking for vertex, you are going to use today's 2 methods, either factoring or completing the square to find the vertex. So this one, H equals 100t, we want to write it in standard form. So write t squared first. And because we didn't move it to other side, so we don't change the sign. Ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So this one, it is factorable. You could use a factor form. Factor form to find the vertex, or you could use completing the square. So because this lesson called completing the square, so we want to use completing the square. For completing the square, we always compare it with the vertex form. A must be outside of the bracket and inside. X is yx. So there's no number at front of x squared. So we are going to take the -5 out. This one, no constant, means +0. So -5, we only factor the first 2 terms. Each term divided by 5, you have t squared. 100 divided by -5 give you -20. Then +0. We don't have to write 0 there, but we copy it. So I will show you the box method. So -5, then bracket. We draw a box. So first term go first, then -20, we split it, -10 into half. The reason why these two need to be same, because when we do factoring, you will get the 2 factors, the number same. So we factor the first row common. It's always, because it's simple trinomial, always we have t here. Then this area divided by t give you -10. This area divided by t give you -10. So you have t minus 10. That is a perfect square we have. Then don't forget, this doesn't equal to this t squared minus 20. We need a number inside here. Then this is t minus 10 times t minus 7 give you this t squared minus 20t plus 100. This works. But in the bracket, originally, we don't have a constant, so we need to take away the 100. Then plus 0. So we use a box for this perfect squared, and we didn't use this constant outside this box. So we are going to expand, take it out. So minus 5 times negative minus 100 is multiplication. Then plus 0, we don't have to write it. So we have negative 5 bracket t minus 10 bracket squared plus 500. Then from the vertex form, we know that the vertex is 5, comma, is 10, sorry, p is opposite with number in the bracket, and 500. And this is your t value, this is your h value. So we know that maximum height is a y coordinate, so we are going to write the maximum height is is 500 meters. And question B, when it will happen, reach this maximum height is a t value, is a time, so it will be, it takes 10 seconds to reach the maximum height. Then this question is done. So go over this question. What we have done is, first thing you need to know which point, x-intercept, y-intercept, or vertex, which one you are looking for. If you are looking for vertex, you could use a completing the square. Completing square always a value take out, because in the bracket we have 1x is simple trinomial, so we need to take 5 out, negative 5 out, and we have 1t squared in. Then we need to have two factors same, x minus p times x minus p. So we need to split the middle term into half, same number, then we can have the two factors same. Then go from there. Then the next one, the equation not given. So we are going to see how we are able to set up equation. And if you see maximum, then you know that you need two variables. Whatever the word after maximum or minimum, highest, lowest, is your y value. It's your y coordinate of your vertex. So let x equals what they are asking you to find the selling price. But we are going to see if we let x equal selling price or not. But for sure, y is revenue. So x, we are going to leave it there first. We are going to see a computer game are sold to 180 students for $20 each. For every $2 increase, there are 6 fewer students willing to buy the game. So what's the maximum revenue? What is the selling price? So for this one, you need to know the revenue formula. The revenue equals the price, unit price, times the customer, or the number of products sold, times number sold. And here is number of students. So we are going to draw a chart to show you You don't have to draw it, but drawing a chart is easier for you to organize all those data. So this one, revenue. So we put the unit price here. So unit price, put the 3 variables in this formula, in this chart. Unit price, then the number sold, then revenue. The first sentence gave us is $20 each, and the number sold is 180. The revenue will be times these two numbers, is 20 times 180 give you $3,600. And after that, we want to change the price. So the unit price is 20 take away plus $2 increase, then you will have 180 plus minus 6. Then the revenue will be times these two numbers. But we don't know how many times the $2 increase, so we are going to put X here. Each time 6 fewer students, so you increase X times, it will be minus 6X. Then the revenue is just times these two numbers together, so 20 plus 2X times 180 take away 6X. And this is a formula for this, the equation for this revenue question. So now this X is not selling price, this X is times that $2 increase. So this one, X is times of $2 increase. And here be careful, this unit price is your selling price. Once you have X, you need to subtract to find the selling price. So selling price is not X. Then we are going to see Y equals unit price or selling price times the numbers of students bought the game. So I want 818 minus 6X. So from this question, you could expand it and go back to completing the square. But also at the very beginning, we have done the reviewing of by factoring. This one is bracket times bracket. We know this is factor form. And from factor form, we know it's easier for us to find the zeros. So it's easier for us to find the zeros. And from zeros, we could find the midpoint. That is your P value. Then from P, we could sub in to find the Q. Then once we have the PQ, we have the vertex, we know how to determine the maximum profit and determine the times of $2 increase. So that is what we want to do because it is in factor form, so we are going to determine the zeros. This will be easier than finding the vertex. Let's determine zeros. And the zeros means y equals 0. So each bracket could be 0. So 20 plus 2x could be 0. Then it will give you 0 times anything give you 0. So y equals 0. Or the second bracket could be 0. 0 times anything give you 0. So we solve for 2x, for x, this is a linear equation. So for linear equation, we could do the isolate variable. So move the number to other side. Do adding, subtracting first. When you solve an equation, you do the backward of backmath. Adding, subtracting first. So 20 move to other side is minus 20, opposite operation. Plus 20 becomes minus 20. Then move the 2 to other side. 2 times x. Opposite is divide. So we have x equals negative 10. Then we do the same thing to solve for the second one. We could move the minus 6x to other side. It will be plus 6x. So 180 equals positive 6x. Then move the 6 to other side to isolate x in order to solve it. It will be opposite operation is division, so x equals 30. Then we have these two zeros, negative 10, positive 30. The middle of that 2 is your vertex, x coordinate. So midpoint of these two is average of these two numbers. Minus 10 plus 30, then divide by 2. You will have 20 over 2, give you 10. This is your p value. Then whenever you are looking for y value, we do substitution. So we substitute p equals 10, the x equals 10 into the equation we set up. We have y equals 20 plus 2 times 10. This one give you the selling price. Then 180 take away 6 times 10. You will have 40 times 120. You have 4,800. And compare with the original revenue is 3,600. It is greater than that, so it makes sense. So, and this is your vertex is 10, and the revenue is 4,800. So we are going to write a statement. Therefore, the maximum revenue is So we are going to write vertex here is 10 bracket 4,800, and we know this is revenue because we define it y equals revenue, and x is $2 increase 10 times $2 increase. So you need to remember what you defined for the variable. So the maximum revenue is $4,800, and the selling price, remember selling price is not x. The selling price is the original price plus the increase is original price is $20 plus 10 times $2 increase. Then together you have $40. Then this question is done. So from these two word problems, you see if standard form given, they could use just a completing the square. You could use a box, or you could just split it and factor it. So if traditional method is -5 t squared minus 20t, then split this one into half is -5 bracket t minus 10 bracket squared. Then remember you need to add 100 in order to get that minus 10 squared. Then also minus 100, then plus 0. Then you are going to times this last term in the bracket out, you have plus 500. So this is a traditional method. You add half of this one squared, half of this, half of the new b value in the bracket squared, then to make it a perfect square. Or you could, for word problem, if it's in the factor form, we find the zeros and find midpoint, sub midpoint back, you have the vertex y coordinate, then you get the vertex. So that is all for this lesson. Thanks for watching.